Wednesday, and it's certainly a privilege to be in the space in the house this morning. It's breakfast hour time, and of course, it's Wellness Wednesday. It's all about taking care of your health and well-being. Morning, Mikey G. Good morning, listeners on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are. Morning, morning, morning.
Lady Elise is in a bulk welcome this morning. So good morning, Lady Elise, and to our listeners and our viewers and our people on here. How are you this morning? Good morning. It is indeed a beautiful morning, and I'm actually feeling happy today that we are actually able to stream this morning's program. We're talking a little bit more about our health, and this morning we need to be clear on how to make better for ourselves, even in a time when things are not going so well. So this morning's episode is all about our health care and the wellness of each individual across our platform this morning. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. Of course, who have joined us on www.flashpointmedia.k, where our web radio continues to play all day. And of course, we use YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. I want to say good morning to you as well.
So, at this moment, Michael G, it's time for us to welcome Dr. K, our physician. What's wrong with me? I'm getting tongue-tied. Our physician who joins us each and every Wednesday. Yes, it's Wellness Wednesday. So, after this brief break, Dr. K will join us. Of course, Dr. K, it's not been a minute, but we are so happy. I have a lot of things to talk to you about, but before we start the conversation, I know it's all about our health and well-being, and I want to welcome you. Dr. K is a physician with many years of experience, and today, as usual, she is always providing relevant information. So, Dr. K, what is the conversation about today?
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about keeping yourself safe in the aftermath of a disaster. And we just had a major disaster in our country, Jamaica. And it's important that we're aware that, yes, even though we're traumatized by all the damages and the loss that we have, at this moment, we have our lives and our health, the majority of it, and we need to stay safe. And the thing about it is that with all the infrastructure that has been damaged, the hospitals and the other medical facilities, there's a taxing thing on in terms of the country's medical resources, because it depends on where you are. The hospitals and the facilities for care are no longer available. So we have to take matters in our own hands and keep ourselves safe. So we're just going to discuss some of the things we can do to keep ourselves safe. So the first thing we can do is, of course, this is the most important thing, is our food, because we're going to be hungry and we're going to be thirsty after a disaster. And we need to make sure that what we put in our system is good. So we have to make sure that we practice proper hygiene. We wash our hands. We're going to be cleaning up and cleaning our houses and cleaning so many parts of, picking up stuff. But we have to ensure that we have clean water. Soap and water is enough to wash our hands, so that when we're putting food in our mouth, we're not exposing ourselves to bacteria such as salmonella or E. coli that will cause us to have diarrhea or other abdominal issues. And the water, we have to make sure that we're drinking clean water. So it's either we're going to be boiling our water or we're going to add in bleach to our water. It's like 1 teaspoon of bleach to 5 gallons of water. So we're going to make sure that we have clean water and clean food and clean hands giving us food. We have kids, we have children who we're going to be feeding, and we have to make sure that they actually wash their hands. The other thing that is happening is that there's a lot of flood waters. So that puts us at risk for getting a number of things. So with flood waters, you're having persons walking in these waters. We have to make sure that if you're going to be walking in these waters, you're going to be using protective gears. So you're going to be using your water boots if you're going to be walking in the water. Try not to walk in dirty water with just your feet, and especially if you have wounds, they can be exposed to bacteria and you can get other infections. Now, make sure you dispose of there are going to be dead animals, dead things around you, spoiled stuff. Make sure you dispose of them properly, because this puts you at risk for getting rodents. And with increasing rodents in the water or in around your environment, you're at risk for something we call leptospirosis. And leptospirosis is one of those bacteria that can actually kill, and possibly we need to talk about that next week because it's something that's important. But make sure that you dispose of your waste in a proper way. And even your physical waste, remember, with a disaster and so much water around, there's going to be animal waste and human waste in the water, not to mention lots of bacteria. So we have to make sure that we're not putting ourselves at risk for getting contaminated with all these contaminated water. The other thing is that once you have a wound, soap and water is good enough to wash that wound. And if it needs to be treated, an antibiotic ointment and cover with a bandage. That should be enough, unless it's really bad that you need to get medical attention. And if you have open wounds, please avoid floodwaters. Avoid putting those wounds in that dirty water. And remember, with the dirty water too, you can actually get fungus. So we want to make sure that we keep ourselves clean. And if we go in the dirty water, we're actually wearing protective gears. Another thing is that once you get into your house, remember that with all the water and everything has been wet, you're at risk for getting molds. And getting molds, and once you inhale that moldy furniture, equipment, wood, whatever it is in your house walls, you're basically putting yourself in respiratory issues. And this can damage you in terms of, because you're inhaling. So what can happen is that you can put yourself at risk for difficulty breathing. And especially if you have asthma, COPD, or other respiratory issues, you could be compromising that and actually worsening. So remember, it's important that once you have all of that wet wood and wet furniture, even sometimes you might not see, but you might smell the mold. You have to make sure that you wear a mask or something that's going to protect yourself. And you can use bleach and water to try to decrease the mold. And the other thing too, you're using all of that bleach and chemicals, you have to make sure that you have proper ventilation. Do not use it in a closed environment where you're going to compromise your respiratory system, because all of that. So you're thinking about cleaning up, but in a sense, you're actually hurting yourself because you're trying to clean. And remember your mental health, people. It's important because it's not an easy thing to go through a natural disaster. There's a trauma of losing everything. So you need to try to get support from family members. Okay, try to get people who can actually support you. You're not in this thing alone. And if you realize you're getting depressed and you're not doing well, the best thing to do is to talk to somebody. And remember that you have down power lines. Make sure that you stay away from these. And
Mm-hmm.
remember, with all the water that's there, you're at risk for getting
Electric.
mosquitoes, increasing mosquitoes. So mosquitoes, especially in the Caribbean, we have the mosquitoes Aedes aegypti, which carry bacteria or other illnesses like dengue. We had a dengue outbreak. We know about chikungunya or Zika, and we really don't want to have those again. But we have to make sure that we actually clean our environment, because with all the water, there's some things we can do and there's some things we cannot control. So if you need to cover up, especially dusk and dawn, and use mosquito repellents if needs be. But we have to protect ourselves. There's so many things going on around us, but we have to protect me, the most important person that there is.
Doc, as you mentioned so much about the mosquitoes that are easily breathing, it will give the normally when rainfall or excess water gathering or large body of water that is stagnated, the health control persons come around and they would treat the water for no additional breeding ground for mosquitoes, such as the one you just described a while ago. And I'm sure that there are others that are out there now as time passes. How difficult do you think it would be right now for the inspectors or the persons who do this job be able to reach these places and consider the damage that is happening in Jamaica and how badly destroyed the communities are? What's your take on
Well,
that?
there's some communities that can happen, but there are other communities that's not going to be happening because the resources will be placed somewhere else. So yes, as individuals, we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves in that case, because there's not going to be people treating the water, and the increased bodies of water that are there will
Well,
not be able to
well,
reach all of those bodies of water.
but as it is right now, we have to also be mindful that there are dead animals that are falling into some of these waterways that are not discovered yet by many persons. And of course, they're also, it's not that they're there and nobody remove them. They're there and nobody knows that they're there. And of course, those bacteria, those things are coming down as well. You know, um, based on what you said earlier, is that we have to wear proper protective gear, but there are persons that are basically out of range for getting those protective gear. Basically, all of those things are actually washed away already. So, what could be a possible? You mentioned bleach, a possible cure for yourself after exposure to this waterway if you have to be in there without proper protective gear? Is there anything that
As
we
I
could actually do?
as I say, wash with soap and water.
Mm.
If you're exposed to all these dirty water and these contaminated elements, just wash. Soap and water, cleansing with soap and water is pretty good. And if you need to disinfect, yes, but cleansing with soap and water is all that needs to happen at this time. If you have no protective gear and you're exposed, clean with soap and water. And remember that there's so much contamination going on. There's a flood water, there's sewage, there's a dead animals, there's so many things that are contaminating the water. So we have to make sure that we avoid them as much as possible, even though we have to clean up. And if we're exposed, soap and water. Wash.
I want to remind us about the amount of bleach necessary for the water of what, 4 gallons that you said? I think
Um,
1 teaspoon.
to 5 gallons.
1 teaspoon. Okay, because I almost threw a mug in there. I'm sorry. make sure I don't get any of that. Thank you, Doc, this morning. I think, Lady, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. K. And also,
Actually, it's not a teaspoon, it's tablespoon. 1 tablespoon per gallon.
1 tablespoon per gallon. Okay.
1 tablespoon.
There are persons who are fixing roofs and climbing and doing all that sort of activity. Try to be safe while you're doing repairs as well.
That's correct. And in terms of, is 1 tablespoon per gallon or 1 cup per 5 gallon of bleach, if you have to use so much more. So 1 cup, which is 8 ounces, 5 gallons, or 1 tablespoon per gallon. If you're going to be drinking the water, you want a smaller container. But yes, there are persons who are going to be on fixing stuff, climbing up on ladders, climbing up to clean, climbing up to fix. Be careful. Remember, even though you might not have protective gear, you still have to make sure. And I talked about the mold already, that we have to not expose our respiratory system. There's going to be, sometimes there's going to be gas leak. We're going to be using all of that bleach and chemicals, as I say before. Make sure you're using it in a well-ventilated area. Do not be using it in a closed space, because you're going to be putting yourself at risk. And even though you're using a lot of bleach, people, do not mix multiple chemical products together, because what you're doing is producing gases that might be harmful to your body. Okay, so don't try to mix it with ammonia or other things because you want to increase the cleaning activity. No, it might just hurt you.
And finally, Dr. K, I know as a medical practitioner, you expect to see some amount, regardless of the caution, you expect to see some amount of increase in some conditions after a disaster. But you're here reminding us that there are things that we can do to minimize, because yes, you have less running water and you will have to go through some onshore waters at time. Our financial advisor described the water in a certain area as looking like molasses. And molasses is a very dark brown color, and so mud and whatever else
chocolatey
could be in that water, and this is what the community sits in. So we do expect that with a disaster certain things will happen, but what can we do as healthcare workers, as community members, as persons affected by the disaster? And what you can do too is share the information to your relatives and friends. Whenever they call you, if you're overseas, remind them of these tips that Dr. K mentioned here. You might not have all the convenience, but we can certainly try to stay healthy. Thank you, Dr. K.
Right. And it's important, that even with all of this, we still, and I will never we still have to take care of us. Take care of your mental health. Do not try not to, if you realize you're feeling down, depressed, try to find somebody to talk to. Remember that the the medical facilities are overwhelmed and you might not get the help that you need readily. So you have to, or we have to, make sure that we minimize the risk of long-term effects. And there will be long-term effects. There are persons who are going to get leptospirosis. There are persons who are going to get dengue and other things because the mosquitoes are there. And there are other persons, especially are more vulnerable in society, our children and our older people. And we have to try to protect them as much as possible.
Dr. K, thank you so much for this morning's experience of enlightening us on how to better take care of our health in a disaster or in a crisis like the one that we are experiencing right now. I want to thank you for coming on each morning and grace us and really enlighten and give us this wealth of information. I trust that our listeners also. Go ahead, Doctor.
And then next week we're going to be talking about leptospirosis.
We'll talk a little bit more about leptospirosis next week. in light of what's happening. Rats! I tell you. Thank you, Dr. K. Of course, guys, when we come back.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
Welcome back, everyone. It is Worthy Wellness Wednesday, and we are happy that you have chosen to join us this morning on the Breakfast Hour. Wherever you are in the world, whether you're in the US, Canada, UK, Jamaica, if you have gotten back your electricity and you're on the eastern end of the island, or even on the southern end, or even in the central aspect of Jamaica. I know that we are every single morning we just had to mention something about what's happening. But Mikey G, as a reminder, there are things happening all over the world. I understand that the Philippines also faced a major disaster, and they too are picking up the pieces. Sometimes we are in our little bubble, Mikey G, when things aren't affecting us. We are just living lives, and sometimes we are not quite connected to what's happening in the rest of the world. Of course, for those of us who are cheering Jamaica on in the World Cup, yesterday was a match between Jamaica and the Curacao. But we'll share details of the results of that match later on in the program. But needless to say, we welcome you to the Breakfast Hour. Yeah, we are glad you decided to stop by here.
All right, so of course, we have decided that, this morning we wanted to change things around a little bit for our listeners and our viewers this morning. Of course, it's time for a devotional. And so when we go for a devotional, when we come back, we'll bring you some of our news and reports that we have across the world and right here in the Grand Cayman Islands as well. First, when we come back.
Good morning. This is day 19. Jesus took them up in his arms, laid his hands on them, and blessed them. Mark chapter 10, verse 16. Reach Out to the Young, written by Anne Setas. Darmisha didn't like the neighbor woman, Suzanne, but she still knocked at her door frequently. She was an unhappy 8-year-old who seemed to enjoy mocking people. Most of their conversations ended with Suzanne telling her that she needed to go home. Suzanne didn't like Darmisha, but she knew the little girl had reasons for her attitude. Living in poverty, having no father in her life, and being neglected by her mother. So Suzanne asked the Lord to help her to love Darmisha. She began greeting her with a smile and showing an interest in her life. Darmisha gradually warmed up to Suzanne and they became friends. The girl is 13 now and they are having a Bible study together. They talk about what it means to follow Jesus because Darmisha has given her life to him. Jesus took time for children. He was greatly displeased when the disciples wanted to keep the little ones away from him, and he said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not forbid them." He even said that we all must receive his kingdom as children do. A 2004 Barna survey showed that 85% of Christians began their relationship with Jesus before age 14. So take time for the children. Reach out to the young. To those who are teaching the gospel with love in their hearts for its truth, comes a gentle reminder from heaven: forget not the children and youth. Our quote this morning reads, "Strong faith is often found in the heart of a child." End quote.
For the able way in which she shares the devotional every morning. And certainly that's one thing in life, Mikey G, that I've learned, that there are so many lessons that we can glean from our daily encounters, from our daily experiences. What lessons are you learning from life as we live it? Now, there's a lot of things happening in the community, and Flashpoint Media, we pride ourselves as being part of the community. Mikey G, we have been sharing the School of Etiquette that will be having their run this Sunday. So there are 2 runs, yes. So you can participate in both because one is in the morning and one is in the afternoon, Mikey G. Of course, the School of Etiquette will be having their 5K walk run on a Sunday morning, November 23rd, as well as the Lasco Cayman Adventist Run, which will be 4 p.m. also on Sunday, November the 23rd. So much happening. No excuse for us to not stay healthy, fit, and strong. Yes, Mikey G.
Of course, I was just thinking about that, We have what we call a walkathon. Or do you have a thing that you call a runathon? I don't know.
No, maybe.
I don't know. I know about a walkathon, but I don't know about a runathon,
And I also want to say good morning to the members of the Optimist Club of Georgetown, in which I am a member. And I just love the Optimist creed, Mikey G. We usually share one tenet of the creed in the mornings. And we certainly need to go back to that, because if we should live by these simple tenets of being optimism, even when things aren't so perfect, I think it will help us to manage life as we see it.
I'm talking about managing life this morning. Of course, it's time for our news. And so we'll go straight to our news. And of course, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about our walkathon, a runathon, and of course the persons who are participating in these events, and much more.
Lasco One and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco One and Up is...
It's 7:45 right here in the Grand K.
Of course, it's 7:45 and news time, all right?
Good morning Cayman. It is Wednesday, 19th November, and these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm Corley Karen. Businesses react to major government fee hikes. The Cayman business community is voicing mixed reactions after government announced sweeping increases to license fees late on 14th November, with the property and legal sectors taking the biggest hits. Property developers with 16 or more employees will now pay $20,000, up from $750, while smaller developers will pay $10,000. Fees for real estate agencies with non-Caymanian agents jumped from $750 to $10,000, and stamp duty on homes valued at $2 million or more has risen from 7.5% to 10%. Industry leaders say the increases were long overdue, but warn of short-term market cooling. Legal firms were also hit hard, with the largest jumping from $400,000 to $1.2 million depending on size. Government expects the new measures to raise nearly $80 million in 2026 and $97 million in 2027, though the methodology behind these estimates remains unclear. Police search for suspect in Parrots Week stabbing. Police are searching for a man who stabbed another outside the Georgetown courthouse following a fight during the Parrots Week festivities on Saturday night. The attacker, described as tall, dark-skinned, and dressed in black, fled the scene. The victim was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries and discharged the following day. Witnesses are urged to contact Georgetown Police Station or Cayman Crime Stoppers anonymously. City Farm charity appeals for support. The Cayman Community Farm, founded during the COVID-19 pandemic by Officer Fabian, the dancing policeman O'Connor, is calling for urgent funding and a formal board structure. The volunteer-run, off-grid farm produces up to 30 types of organic crops for seniors and vulnerable residents. Organizers say the operation has reached its limits without consistent financial support for equipment, fuel, and supplies. Anyone wishing to assist can contact Chair Chris Johnson at cdj@cjacayman.com. Cayman Heart Foundation celebrates Heart Heroes. The Cayman Heart Foundation honored survivors, caregivers, and advocates at its annual recognition event on 15th November. The organization says their stories serve as reminders of the importance of cardiac health and its mission to save 100 lives across the islands. Nominations for future honorees are open via the foundation. Breast cancer screening access expanded through JN Money and Lions Club partnership. Nearly 400 people received free mammogram vouchers this October through the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens' long-running partnership with JN Money Services. The program has helped drive late-stage breast cancer diagnosis down from 70% to about 20% over the past 2 decades, thanks to increased awareness and accessible screenings. Now on to regional and international news. Trinidad and Tobago widens ban on fetes at sporting venues. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamala Persad Besesar has broadened a ban on major fetes at key sporting venues, citing noise pollution concerns. Events at Hazley Crawford Stadium and the John Pierre Complex will now be restricted, except for the days immediately surrounding Carnival. The move has drawn mixed reactions from cultural leaders who warn of economic fallout. CARICOM private sector welcomes removal of U.S. tariffs. CARICOM's private sector organization says the U.S. decision to lift reciprocal tariffs, previously expected to cost the region more than US $650 million annually, will bring significant relief. The reversal, issued by President Donald Trump on 14th November, removes tariffs on key exports like ammonia, methanol, and agricultural products, benefiting major exporters including Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. U.S. judge dismisses DOJ challenge to New York immigration law. A federal judge has thrown out a Trump administration lawsuit targeting New York's Protect Our Courts Act, ruling that the federal government cannot compel states to assist with civil immigration enforcement. The state law prohibits immigration arrests at state courthouses without a judicial warrant. New York Attorney General Letitia James praised the ruling as a victory for immigrant rights. Meta wins landmark FTC antitrust case. Meta will not be forced to divest Instagram or WhatsApp after a U.S. judge ruled the FTC failed to prove the company currently holds a social networking monopoly. The judge noted the marketplace has changed dramatically since the case was filed, with TikTok now one of Meta's strongest competitors. Meta says the ruling affirms that it operates in a, quote, fiercely competitive environment. Global internet disruptions as Cloudflare experiences outage. Users around the world reported trouble accessing X, Canva, ChatGPT, and several online games on Tuesday after infrastructure giant Cloudflare confirmed an internal service degradation affecting parts of its global network. The company says it is working to restore normal operations. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Please continue to stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
You're listening to Flashpoint, the family radio.
Cool on your body any day, anytime. I cool water on the front line. Jump up on the beat, this a I cool time. Tell it to the world, so when you have to breathe worldwide.
I cool water helps me stay cool, cause I drink cool. I cool water, feel like water helps me stay cool, cause I drink cool. I cool water, feel life.
We use the internet to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ, transforming lives, renewing hearts 24/7, 7 days a week. internet radio in a class by itself. We're flashing the gospel around the world as a witness. And someone will say, you know what? I heard it on Flashpoint Radio, and my life has been changed. Flashpoint in a class by itself.
I cool water. Yeah, man, that's what I say this morning.
You know, Michael G, you know,
I like that hat very much.
I've been making jottings when it came on to the news,
Yes,
Michael G.
yes.
And
I had to go I cool water to just take that pressure off my mind a while ago.
You know, Michael G, if it's one thing I know
I tell you.
in life, and if we look on history, you know, the foundation of Flashpoint Media is not a church, but we believe, we know God for ourselves. And, you know, instead of panicking when we hear certain situation, what we ought to do is to maintain our connection with God and be faithful and know that, you know, in the end, we remain optimistic and we know faithful to God.
Look up, cause your redemption drawing nigh. Oh boy! Let me ask you, what jumped out at you at the news this time around, ladies? As you listen to the news and we're exploring it, what jumped out at you this time?
You know, from that first article of news that was read about businesses responding with mixed feelings
towards immigration, taxation on companies and businesses.
Yes, you could call it taxation.
It is it is taxation because, of course, you know that the Cayman Islands do not have the direct what you call
direct
taxation, but they do it in another way. And in this sense, it is targeting businesses and persons. Well, businesses in this sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is for me a little troubling to see where the prices have moved. What they will do is another matter. I know that what will happen is that businesses will suffer significantly. I measure this up to the same. I measure it to rollover policy when it was first implemented in the Cayman Islands. A total annihilation of the economy that took place. I don't think this will annihilate the economy, but it will annihilate quite a few businesses.
Well, you know, we always say when things are happening, it's something that's unfolding and it's a 2-year plan. So the implementation will come over time and we will see what the results will be.
I think it sets in place. It sets in place the idea of really of getting more local intervention in terms of the work market, the workplace.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing. For wanting more persons in the local field to be working in the market. But I'm not seeing much of the local people running down construction jobs and stuff like that. Domestic work and these things. I've not seen many of the the local persons rushing these jobs. And so I can understand the concern about local market persons. So even banking. So let's say you have certain jobs that are quote unquote high scale jobs, such as lawyers, doctors, teachers, all these things. And those are usually government operated stuff. Or not in so many ways. For lawyers, we hear that lawyers are having a harder time too. They have been hit with quite a bit of a hike on their budget in terms of operational cost. So it's quite an interesting twisting event. So it's not just one
So
set of persons that are going to be affected. It's like
no,
what's good. It's like what's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
there will be a
It's
ripple
a hell of a
effect.
thing, right?
It's hard, and we know that it's hard to isolate one area, and you don't think it will affect it.
I
It
know that there
will.
are many persons who went out and did this. Some of these persons, I tell you, most persons who are being affected right now by this hike came out of the jump out of the fence, or out of the where you call it where the horse run from, and they actually lobbied for some of these things, most of the persons
Yes.
lobbied for some of these things, and it come back and bite them too, and so I'm very happy that it's actually biting everybody. It's not just biting one set. So I'm not against the thing. What could happen is that some person would say, well, we voted for this government to do better for us, but they're doing worse, because what they have done is now raise business taxes, that it is now going to kill Caymanian business so badly, because they have depended on employing persons of whatever. But whichever way you look at it from, it doesn't matter where you look at it. This is what the outcome will be, right? Now, if common sense or lobbying can take place, and of course somewhere along the line persons listening to the conversation can hear that you have not done justice to the people of the Cayman Islands in doing this measure, then you could roll back some of these things or adjust them so that they actually do effect a change in actually response in terms of growth, but not through taxation, but through building entrepreneurship and wealth for the country by building businesses that people want to get into. So at this point, it's as if it might sound like it is building up some areas of reaping in a bulk of money. But if you notice that the Cayman Islands, in terms of immigration and work permits and stuff, if we have not checked the amount of money that is yielding over the year, like a annual basis for yielding work permits, ladies, we have not checked that yet. But I think we should run a number on it, and then to increase that, then we see where we are at this point. But it is an interesting twist in events. I think that we'll see some very interesting days ahead. Let's see. I think there's a saying that my mother always tell me: "Turn and sit up while no dance. I interference to it."
No, wait, Mikey G. In my mind, I thought you were gonna say the one that I know one day leaf fall up, but something. I
And
don't
I
know.
same day leaf drop in the water rotten. No, this one is different. Alright, so it's two ones. Two of it. No,
No,
two.
wait. Just go slow now.
All right, I know the same. I know the same. For those who are not understanding me, my Jamaican vernacular, I'm going to speak in it. I know the same day leaf drop in the water, it rotten.
Right.
So
I
it's
know that
and
one.
so for
So
those who
what
don't
is the one
understand,
that
for
is
those who don't
affected?
understand my Jamaican vernacular, it's not the same day the leaf from the tree drop in the water or falls in the water that it rots immediately.
All
It
right.
takes a
So
while. All right, the next one is Tana and Sina while no dance. I interference to it. So it is this. It is this. You know, the statement is this. Just standing aside and looking at somebody having a party or a dance do not affect it. But if you go and trouble the people, like to plug out them sound system or mess with them thing, then that is what's going to cause the problem. Alright. Here's another one I'm going to use. When something a come, when something a go, you run go look. But when it a come, sit down. And so
yes, that one is clear. That one is clear. I've heard that before.
so it's not, it don't need to be excited about what's going on and be crying or whatever.
Exactly.
Just wait. It's a matter of seeing how this will work out. And trust me, you know how things are. There's some things that when you throw them up, they're cats. They fall on their flakes all the time. No matter what happens, they just keep jumping on their legs, You know, and so, but I know that the hurting persons are going to be around. Some of those persons who are bawling, claiming that they wanted these changes, they are going to be the first to hurt in the process, and they're going to right now they are saddened by the move. I'm telling you that they are hurting because they have employed quite a few persons that work permits are going to be much higher for them, and of course they're going to be laying off some very dedicated workers, to probably get some persons who are probably not so dedicated. Not that they can't find dedicated persons, but it's going to take a while to do so. So it's like trying to change things around and exchanging. They say stop black dog for monkey, but I'm just saying. My mother tell me these things. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just. All right, I'm leaving it.
Michael J, I have a classmate, and I have to say big up to Celia this morning. She is good with the proverbs. And I remember when we were in college, and she would come up with some proverbs that are beyond her years, that she would have been told by her parents and grandparents. And when you think about them, they're fun to listen to, and sometimes it causes you to think. Like the meaning is just not as clear as you would expect it to be. And so, as you said, a lot of things that are happening in the world, you can actually take your popcorn and sit down like you're watching a movie and just wait till it happens. There's no need for you now to be anxious. What is going to happen next? What is going to happen? This is going to happen. Just wait.
I told the story about the hike in rental cost and price cost of living in terms of rentals.
Yes.
And how persons are renting for high cost of increasing the price of rent.
Right.
I've had this conversation, and so I think I'm forced to make a second run of it, just a little bit, just a short version of it this time, not a long one. But with high rental properties or increasing of rent without having a regulatory body to regulate rent, and in this sense, the government has moved and make a move that will now increase rent again, because once you increase property taxes, people are going to increase their rent to pay more on these events. In fact, mortgages are going to move. I'm sure the bank is going to move some money on the mortgages and homes and stuff like that. And as I hear, you are targeting one set of persons who are non-Caymanians versus Caymanians, and that's even out that one person will pay for this and one person will pay for that. It will be that this will also be an attack on the country itself, because you can't stop persons from now raising the rent on their properties to match these costs. And when that happens, it is going to further damage the persons who are renting. All right, let's listen to who are renting. Persons who are on work permit are renting, and some of them, because many persons have bought their homes, and some persons who are possibly trying to leave home. You have lived with mommy and daddy for a while, and it's time for you to go out and find a place to live. And so this is something that you may take a look at, and you say, well, I'm going to try to find somewhere to live, but at this point the rent is so high, I am unable to pay for the property with the salary that I'm earning from the present location I'm working. So in this point, salaries must increase to match these new expenses that are coming on. So that's where I take it that we will go in the near future. So I want you to understand that children won't be able to leave home because they can't pay the rent. So mothers and fathers, you're stuck with your children for a longer period of time than normal. That's what I'm saying. And I talked about this a long time ago. So there must be a balance somewhere where you strike that balance to mitigate against where you can afford a place to live and work, have a job that provides you that place that you want to live and brings that what you call independence. While you start working, you want to have your own place and all that. And of course, you want to teach your children how to be independent and how to be out there and survive and not be dependent on mommy and daddy all the time. But I think high cost of living may throw some persons under the bus, while some people might come out stars and superstars. So I don't know which way it's going to go. But let the games begin. There are good times ahead. I'm not a financial analyst or anything, so please don't take this my analysis of the matter as a professional standard. All right. So please, it's just Michael G, just opinion, and so this is an opinion of Michael G, and just Michael G alone. All right. Not even Lady Elise. Not even Lady Elise. It's not Michael G's opinion. It's not even Lady Elise's opinion. It is Michael G's alone. So please, if you come at me, come talk to Michael G. Don't talk to Lady Elise about it. Just talk to Michael G alone. And come out the conversation. Yes, what say Lady Elise? You were saying?
I'm glad you made that decoration, Mikey G.
I know. I want to take you out of the picture because you have nothing to do with none of the things that I said a while ago. For the purpose of the fact that you are here on the platform while we are having a conversation, I want all of it to be directed to me, and there's none to go towards Lady Elise because she did not say anything about.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. At this time, I want to encourage our listeners to stay connected to Flashpoint. A lot happening each and every day. Mikey G, we have to share one of the talents on Cayman Got Talent. The beautiful young people who showcased their talent on Flashpoint Media. We say thank you, and you have to stay connected to hear more from them. Of course, later this evening, the man Mario will be on with Conversations After Dark. I don't know what it's going to be the discussion, but it's always interesting and intriguing. Usually at 10 p.m. tonight, so if you need to get on that for the conversation, please do so and join us live on our web radio, www.flashpointmedia.ky. It's an interactive program, so you can be a part of the conversation, say what you think, and it's a nice space to have a conversation. So join Mario this evening at 10 p.m.
Let's talk. I think Mario should talk a little bit about the high prices of what's going on right now, taxation and all that, the new move of the government, and let's see. Let's talk about some of the fall-offs that can possibly happen, or some of the gains that they can yield from it.
What perhaps we could do is get a financial advisor, someone who is in this space and can give a kind of a balance,
a better analytics, better analytic of the matter.
Right, I know it will impact because listen. We keep on saying we're a global village, and we know that because I remember a few years ago when COVID started over there in China. Very soon the village became very small, and it spread like wildfire. So the economics in US, in Canada, in Cayman, in Jamaica affect us all in one way or the other. So let us be a part of the conversation and think about it based on our own experiences. Today Dr. K came on and she was sharing with us how we can stay safe after a disaster. And so that information, if you are not directly impacted by a disaster, you can share it with someone, or if you are helping as persons in Cayman are going down to Jamaica, take note of these things that we need to do to stay safe.
Well, one part of it I want to say, of course, remember that we have a GoFundMe for what we call a launch of our adopting of a family program right here in Flashpoint. And so we have looked at the idea of adopting families across Jamaica. Have a direct approach to the matter, because what we have seen so far is that sometimes some of the aids have for some of the persons have gone into the wrong hands. Persons who are supposed to get it are not receiving it, and I see it a little disheartening. I'm believing it for myself. So we have at Flashpoint are looking at the idea of adopting families, and this is where we have launched a GoFundMe to fund this project as much as possible, that we can seek to affect the change in a few families. If we can, I don't as many as we can, and as it might start as a small drive, but it might come up to be a lot. And so we start small. And so if you feel impressed that you want to partner with us, please come on board and help us to affect the change for one family at a time and help to fix their problem.
We have had teams going down with Mikey G. We had footage of members who are connected to Flashpoint who have been underground cleaning houses.
Right.
Over there in St. James. So we are doing our little bit.
Yes.
And any contribution you can make to the process, please do so. We launched a GoFundMe, and the funds are going towards helping persons in Jamaica as they recover. Every little bit counts.
Here is one more parable for everybody. Every mickle make a muckle. So we want you to. Alright, let's one more for them. One more. One cocoa, full basket.
Full basket.
And so this is where we want to take it for you this morning. Alright, ladies, I think it's time for us to leave. I get out of the studio. I want to say thanks to all our listeners, our people. Thank you, Cayman Islands. Thank you. US of A, thank you Canada, thank you for all my peeps in Jamaica and in the Caribbean.
Yes, until next time, see you right here, same place, same time, breakfast hour, and of course continue to listen to our web radio via www.flashpointmedia.ky. We truly appreciate your presence. We appreciate your listenership, your viewership. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're joining us from, we do appreciate you. Have yourself a wonderful, wellness-worthy Wednesday.
And I would say thank you, ladies. Of course, we want to just drop it before we leave. One last thing, the 10K that is coming up in Grand Cayman. I love the last chord, so I have to drop it one more time.
Flashpoint, the family radio.
Get ready to move for a great cause. The Cayman Islands Conference of Seventh-day Adventists presents the Lasco Cayman Adventists Annual 10K Run Walk 2025. It's all happening Sunday, November 23rd, starting at 4 p.m. Walkers, runners at 4:30, and the kids start at 5. Register today at CaymanActive.com or visit the Adventist headquarters on Walkers Road. Entry fee just $25 KYD. All proceeds go to the Youth Camp 2026. So lace up, show your spirit, and let's make a difference together. Sponsored by Lasco and Praise 87.9 FM, the voice of hope for the Cayman Islands.
Cool on your body any day, anytime. I cool water on the front line. Jump it on the beat, this a I cool time. Tell it to the world, so when you have to reach world.
I cool water helps me stay cool, cause I drink cool. I cool water feel like water helps me stay cool, cause I drink cool. I cool water feel life.
I cool water for life. Yeah, man, that's what we say this morning. Alright, guys, that's it for me. I'm gonna further. Alright. Remember, web radio continues to play all day today on www.flashpointmedia.ky. Remember this, flashpointmedia.ky. Web radio, Flashpoint. Listen to our radio all day. Alright, so we're going to be having lots of programming for you. News and more, weather and sports. Lots of music. And of course, talk. Alright, catch you later on. Catch you tomorrow. Of course, we want to share some of those pictures of our persons on the ground in Jamaica, helping out, washing out some of those homes and cleaning up and doing some stuff. We have already been there doing stuff already. And of course, we want to further the effort to actually start help out with some of the rebuilding process and not just cleaning up, Alright, ladies, final words and we go.
Well, I just want to wish you all an absolutely wonderful Wednesday. May the Lord bless you abundantly more than you can ever ask, think, or imagine. Call up somebody, check on them, find out how they are doing. And hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on the Breakfast Hour.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries. We'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, and we'll all sing there outside. Just us in the sky. Are we part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy.
You're listening to Flashpoint, the family radio.
Have yourself a Flashpoint day. Start your breakfast the Flashpoint way and cruise through lunch and then to dinner. With Flashpoint Radio. Flashpoint Radio is a class. Flashpoint Radio for gospel, inspiration, motivation, and meditation. Anywhere you go, take Flashpoint with you. Flashpoint Radio.